Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's the 10th of July 2024 and it's 10:35 a.m. I'm trying to get a sneaky video in before I have my debrief with my worthy psychiatrist, and I have to leave the house around about, I probably shouldn't tell you people what time I'm leaving my house on the internet in case I get broken into, but what are they going to take anyway, I've been fucked over for so long in life that there's not really much anyone can take from me now, except for life itself, l'chaim. But anyway, I've got a nasty barking bronchitis and a bit of a cold and a nasal thing. I don't know if I should cancel my appointment or not, actually, but I'm not too bad. Like, I'm functioning, so I guess I'll keep my appointment. I'll just keep my distance. And yeah, it's I don't know whether it's an actual cold or if it's from the effects of the my body adjusting to the mask, which I suspect it's that because it started just after that. But, correlation, not causation. It might actually be a cold that I've picked up somewhere along the way. But I'm not too bad. I'm coping. Life is beautiful. Mama T, as per normal, is fighting on. And, yes, it's all good, babies. So today's memories are entitled I Am the Lightning Rod and the Flagellant's Whipping Post. I hope not anymore. I'm sick of that shit. The gods can just get off my back for a little while, maybe for the rest of my life even. I'd appreciate that very much. And here I continue writing. Also a catalyzer. Life is good. Yes, it is. Whatever form it manifests. Hold true like glue, people of Earth. It's your life, it's my life, and it's now or never. I'm not going to wait forever. I'm running out of fucking time, quite frankly. But that's negative thinking, according to my psychiatrist. If I can get the CPAP to work, I'm guaranteed another 20 or 30 years. He knows nothing, Jon Snow, because no life is guaranteed to be prolonged. Weirder things have been known to happen than dying of sleep apnea. Like my handsome, talented, amazing cousin once removed, my father's first cousin, getting killed in a car accident in old age. Like, who the fuck signs up for that, am I right? That was a gross injustice the fates gifted him. But anyway, these are very dark, morbid thoughts, but I'm just very conscious that I have no control over my final ending, no more than any other mortal on this planet. But in the meantime, I'm being a good little patient and I'm sucking on my mask, and the hose kept falling off during the night, which was feckin' annoying. So I'm not getting the right pressures when it keeps falling off, so I have to tape it on with masking tape tonight. There's no point doing something if it's only half-assed and isn't working right. So I'm not going to achieve the results we want. So I'll have to soldier on every day in every way so I can manifest my beautiful, reasonably healthful life. What is that little man on the little motorbike doing? Looks like a food delivery driver. I haven't ordered any food. He's going on his merry way, got himself a bit lost. It's easy to get lost in my area because the numbers all jump around in weird random ways that make no sense to anyone. So here we are, a beautiful day out in the sunshine with a beautiful little face, loving Mama T as she does, in her own birdie num ways. by the gods, you can see there. What year was that? My lips were an astonishing shade of sick, deathly grey and purple. Didn't mark what year, but it was probably last year, 2022, when I was very, very close. Death and I were dancing the lambada very, very erotically at that time. Breathing right down my neck she was. Ooh, juicy. But I pirouetted her back into the far curtain beyond the veil and said, Mama T's buying a bit more time on this planet for my beautiful life I was promised when I'm 60. Wouldn't it be a great cosmic joke if I don't make it to 60 and I'm denied my beautiful life and it was all a big fucking lie? That would be kind of hilarious. Even I, as I transition into the next, even I would look back and go, ha, they got you good, sucker. They had you going a long, long time on that one. But I don't want to be played for a fool by the gods or by mortal men. I want my beautiful life at long last. Oh, Mama T, you're so gorgeous. I love you. You're so deserving. No more than any other mortal on this planet. Maybe a little bit more though, given the shit fuckery you endured for decades, but you're so deserving. But, wow, you know, how are we going to break those old chains from those old ghostly machinery and the cosmic fuckery that happened to you, little one? How are we going to break it? I'll tell you how. One dance at a time. One triumphant reclamation at a time. Don't sweat the small stuff, Tanyala. Life will keep happening until the day comes it happens no more. And then, in time, very likely, unless you get it right at the end, there'll be another life and another and another. Oh, with the same two bit players probably still being just as vicious as ever they were in this incarnation. I really don't want that. That's my idea of hell. That is my idea of eternal suffering. I don't want that. How am I going to escape that? The Christians will be all screaming, become a Christian, Tanya. Fuck off with that shit. Eternal life happens regardless of what religion you are, by the way. It really does. Reincarnation keeps happening. The Gilgulim, the wheel keeps turning. Babies. It's kind of symbolic that when I was dancing to the last refrains of Zombie on Friday night, I was hopping up and down like a typewriter pattern with my own 2 feet, jumping up and down in a circle. First I went clockwise and then I went anti-clockwise. Closed circuit loop, babies. We've got to close that loop that has me trapped in some kind of hell loop where I'm denied good health, prosperity, truest, greatest, most loyal, faithful, devoted lover. We've got to burn that fucking bridge. Pushing 60. How many more bridges does Mama have to burn before the gods grant me real, authentic love and my most beautiful life? And they're whispering in my ear, shh, Tanya, it's happening now. It's happening now. You just have to breathe and trust in the process and trust in us. Okay, gods and angels, you've kept me alive and sustained me all these years. Must be for some reason that even I don't understand. I have to trust in them according to their will. Forget my own mortal free will, by the way. But no. No more manipulations, gods. No more trickster games, gods. No more awfulness or bitter disappointments. Please, please, God, no more evil. The greatest evil in my life coming to me in the forms of good Christians. So if you're a Christian and you've been watching my videos, it's not you personally I hate. It's the false, delusional, illusionary, destructive, poisoning, toxic, dangerous religion that despoils little children, by the way. If you don't understand why I feel that way about that, then please unsubscribe and leave my page. You're not a prisoner of my love or of my furies or of my righteous indignation. See you in the next Gilgulim. I'll probably be watching your videos. You can be the Jewish Viking berserker witch next time, and I'll be... No, I never ever want to be a Christian, ever. That's how sickening I feel about it. Sickens me to my core. And let's be fair here, I probably was a monk or a nun in a previous incarnation. There's no accident that in times of very unusual times in my life, I kept befriending nuns 3 times. Peak milestone, life-altering, changing over of the guards almost of my life, where things were stepping in and shifting my life in another direction. A nun would enter my life. So I'm not anti-Christians. I don't hate individual people for their belief systems. I hate the ideology. And I've got good reason to hate it, given what I knew by the time I was 6 years old as a little soul. So I don't need your forgiveness or your understanding. I just need you to acknowledge and accept with grace that that is my life history and why I am the way I am today. Oh, 10th of July 2023. Today I slept until 12:30 p.m. Then I took a shower, washed my hair, dressed. I've been a bit groggy. I probably should have had a shower too this morning before I go off to my doctor. Snot. Maybe I'll cancel the appointment. It's not fair to snot all over him. Also, I'm feeling kind of weak. Probably shouldn't be driving. Oh, dear goddess. But anyway, I'll give it an hour, how I feel in an hour, and then if I feel crap, I'll get him to do it by telehealth. He won't mind. I sat outside on the grass and carved my witchy staff with a fresh trescal. It had gotten sanded off when I sanded it. It was lovely working on this while sitting outside, meditative. Oh, it's the lock. I thought it was a gigantic bloody booger. Oh, all right, we're all good. We're all kosher. We're all happening in a far out way. I was also watching a podcast. Later, I took Bo and Charlie for a walk. We visited Rosie and the dogs ran around merrily while Bobo played ball. Oh, dear God. It was the last time before he died that they got to really have a proper play. In the evening, until now, 11:20 p.m, I transferred my writing to Vocal Media. I am exhausted but satisfied with my preservation of my memories, insights, spiritual epithets, and my precious writings. Time to sleep now. Laila Tov, good night. And here we are reading from those what I deem to be precious writings. Well, they're my preciouses. my memories, my sanctifications, my epiphanies, my personal growth, my life path, my experiences chatting to random strangers, sometimes angels in the night. You never know who you're going to meet out in the night, people of earth. Sometimes you meet them by daylight too, and it's astonishing. Pay attention to the synchronicities, I'm reminded. Here's my staff that I had started carving out. And here it is, completed and varnished and what have you. Go get it. So I'm quite ill, I'm even struggling to walk. It's absurdist, isn't it? I sat and got my hair yesterday, but I guess I was sitting down. Here's my Triskel. I put little ground up turquoise and inlaid turquoise onto it. It's a bit rough. I could have sanded it back further, but I didn't want to lose all the little bits of stone. And then I hung an old broken necklace off it. It had lost, one of these had lost the stone, so I removed it and now hangs as a decoration. I loved that necklace, by the way. I really did. Used to wear it a lot. My mother actually bought it for me. Yes, my evil mother used to buy me lovely things. Bought and paid for like a concubine. It's her excuse so she could keep up the abuse. Here, I'll buy you something lovely while I literally shit down your neck. What can I say? But I honour the lovely things she bought me because, you know, value things. People, not things actually, really, but in real terms. But I like to value and appreciate what I've been given. My mother even used to throw it in my face as a child, you know, older child, about 10 or 11. She used to say to me, one thing about you and your sister, whatever I've given you, you have accepted with grace and appreciated and, you know, been really respectful about, and you've never quibbled or made demands or asked for more, you just graciously accept. She said, I like that about you. I thought, yeah, well, we weren't assholes like her, were we? My sister had a habit, though, of being very privileged and spoilt. I still remember one time her husband bought her the most beautiful, what was it he bought her? They were very expensive. I think they were pearls. She said she didn't like it and he had to take it back and buy her something else instead, so he did. And my mother and I were shocked and horrified. We thought that was so rude and disrespectful, you know. And then she did it to me. I bought her a cookie jar when I was 15. I didn't have a lot of money as a kid. I only had my first little job waitressing. Made fucking pittance, had to work very hard for that pittance too. And anyway, I bought her this beautiful Italian Baroque looking cookie jar thinking she would love it. I don't like it, take it back. Right, that's the last time I buy you anything. It's very difficult to buy her gifts. She was just so fucking narcissistic and spoilt and kind of evil, quite frankly. But here I am raving on about all the little gifts people have given me all the years, and some of them have got quite negative connotations, which is why I burnt the teddy bear in 2020 from my pedophile godfather. I wasn't going to keep that energy lying around the house any longer. And I burnt my wedding dress and sold my engagement ring, and I can't remember what I did with my wedding ring. I had two. I think I gave one to Crystal. I think I gave one to Crystal. She wasn't keen on it. Oh yes, I remember now. The second wedding band I bought, which was supposed to be for my Orthodox Jewish wedding if I'd completed the conversion, which I didn't because I was being slandered and viciously backstabbed constantly. I thought, not my religion. fuck that off. But I kept, I'm still a reformed Jew though, but I kept the wedding band that I bought for that wedding. Oh, imagine if I'd married that miscreant bastard in an Orthodox Jewish wedding ceremony when he'd already been so awful to me for years. It was a travesty. So anyway, I took that wedding band which I had bought in an antique shop. It was an antique gold band from Birmingham, actually. My elderly teacher, Mrs. Bernstein, recognised the hallmark. She said, "Oh, this is a very old ring, Tanya. It comes from Birmingham." And I said, "Oh, really?" Anyway, it was a lovely gold band. And when I inherited my mother's bits and pieces in 2008, I took it down and I got the top shank cut off and I got it added on to a ruby ring that Mum had, but the lower part of the shank had worn very, very thin and was easily broken through. So I got the jeweller to put that wedding band, half of that wedding band on with the ruby eternity ring of my mother's, ruby and diamonds. And I gave that to my daughter ultimately. I wore it for a while, but then I gave it to my daughter. Bastard doesn't wear it, so I don't know what she's done with it. We sold it. God knows what for. But anyway, I'm annoyed about that because I gave it to her because rubies represent true love. And I was hoping it might manifest a true love for her so she might get married one day. Doesn't wear it. Silly girl. But anyway, what can you do? Should buy myself my own ruby, shouldn't I? Oh, but we don't need to be superstitious. True love will happen at the appointed time with the right person, manifested by the gods. Because I can't go on floundering and inviting evil dickheads into my life. So I leave it up to the gods now. But anyway, that's what happened with that second wedding band. And my original wedding ring, I don't know what I did with it. I must have sold it when I sold the engagement ring. Which now I'm a silversmith. I'm kind of pissed off about because I could have remade it into something else myself and not given away a valuable ring for pittance. But oh well, it is what it is. It's what is done is done. Here I write, recarving the Triskel back into my walking stick, I was shown in brief visions that I needed to complete this task. It's kind of, they kept flashing the symbol at me going, do it, do it, do it. I don't know why that was so important to my angels, but they insisted I finished that task. My angels dislike when I leave projects in disarray. I may inlay PowerShell into this also, but that is a lot of work, and instead I decided to inlay turquoise. Turquoise babies. My hashtags are magic happens, fae, love is the law, creativity, mindfulness, Triskel, Titania's realm of course, bliss, ecstasy, patience, life force, chi, beauty, service to the gods. Yes, indeed. 10th of July 2022, 11:48 a.m, up and at 'em. I woke up at 6 a.m. but listened to podcasts, pardon me, then fell asleep until 10 a.m. I had vivid dreams about my former fish ponds, the ones that the bastards from Buranda made me get rid of. Invading my psychic space with their nastiness. Dog. He was a nasty little man though. Nasty. Anyway. In the dream, carrying on. Try to carry on. Keep my chin up. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep breathing. I went to the larger one that in the dream was placed in the back left corner of my property, which was weird because it wasn't position up the back like that in real life. It was almost dry and the fish were gone. There was a thick silt on the bottom, which I ran through my hands trying to decipher if the mud had killed the fish. I felt quite distraught. I ran my hands over the timber feature and fussed over it for some time, thinking it had somehow contaminated the water. The remaining water in the pond was clean and healthy looking, a good omen, and the sludge represents my current health battles and the ensuing fight I will be having with the medical establishment indeed. Or perhaps the sludge represents my grief at my own declining health and the state of our world, ? The next phase of the dream, I was sitting in a shed with the door open, but on a toilet, actually taking a crap. Light was streaming from outside and I was sort of backlit, like in a stage light. Hilarious. But I look up and 3 teenage boys from across the road were walking out of their house and stopped as they could see me. In the dream, I just shrugged and kept defecating. The boys stood in shock for a few moments, then walked away. Now in real life, I would be so deeply ashamed and mortified to be witnessed shitting on a toilet. So even in the dream part of me, there should be a comma there, part of me said, what the fuck? And another part said, dementia. So I nodded. People with dementia lose inhibitions. They've got no qualms shitting right in front of you or being lewd and lascivious and sexualized. No qualms at all. No cognition left. No filters, no inhibitions. It can be quite hilarious to watch at times, but other times it can be a bit freaky as shit, literally. Then the dream shifted to the back of the shed to another pond. In real life, I used to have 3 ponds until housing got vicious. So these are conglomerates of old traumas. This pond was also empty, and again I wrung my hands in despair. Where are all my fish? I worried greatly and fretted, but someone said, don't worry, you still have the ones out front. I ran to check, and yes, they were still there, as they are in real life. Only 2 still alive now because my other boy, who'd been suffering for years with tumours, eventually succumbed. But something felt altered and I was not satisfied that all was well. Then I woke up. What year was that? Did I say? 2022. Well, he died over the Christmas period from the heat wave. It just was one thing too many for him, so a year and a half later. I don't own a shed or even a carport. My paint is damaged on my car from almost 10 years of exposure. So perhaps that is why my subconscious is wishing I had a shed or garage. I hope like hell I don't get any form of dementia or shit myself in public. Oh, that would be awful. That would be so awful. But the beautiful streaming light bodes well. Also, shitting usually means money is coming. Go figure. If you dream of yourself shitting anywhere, but in a toilet or anywhere, pay attention. You're going to get an unexpected bonus or windfall, or someone gifts you money or lends you money when you desperately need it. There'll be a little bit of a financial boost coming your way. Trigger warning: child sexual abuse, suicide, abortion, cancer, car accidents, systemic abuses, domestic violence. A reminder of what I have survived in my entire life. Pardon me. This is the timeline I was talking about in another video that I said I had up on a shamanism group that I'm no longer a member of because we fought about swastikas. It was a massive fight we had about swastikas. I can't stand neo-Nazis parading as spiritual people, telling us that the Holocaust was good for all of us, for the edification of our souls, and the 6 million who died are grateful for the dying that way because it helped build their soul. You say that to me? Get off my page. That evil, filthy motherfucker, Linda Ray Kramer, saying that in one of her videos. Oh, I'm still not forgiving of that one. Evil she is. But you get them, these spiritual bypassers that tell you if really evil, bad things happen to you, then you deserved it and it was good for your soul. Fuck off, dirty cunts. It's just whitewashing and making excuses for perpetrators of evil that, by the way, those kind of perpetrators never quit. Trust me on that one. From lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, they never quit. It's the caliber of their souls. So don't make excuses for bad behaviours. By the gods, I find that cowardly, disingenuous, weak and inept, by the way. Those kind of cretins. But anyway, here we go. I wrote this on the 28th of December 2018. Timeline of illnesses / abuses / near-death experiences. And actually later on I looked at it and there were a few that I'd forgotten, like the drowning when I was a child that Lynn Robertson reminded me she had saved me from at the very last bloody moment as I was watching all the bubbles arise with my breath and had reached that moment of peace. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. I'm still banging my drum, literally, at 59 years of age. And I'm still dancing, babies. That is the power of my spirit, cleaving to my truth, integrity and honour, and dancing as wildly and joyously and triumphantly and defiantly as I can. Like the goddess Kali on the heads of my enemies sometimes, almost literally, but not quite. Comments are from my contribution to a shamanism group. Death and I have long held hands and danced. How did I start this video? Talking about how we lombarded in 2020 and I pirouetted her back beyond the veil. She's around again, the old girl. She's around again, but we haven't... she's just cycling me carefully, watching, and I'm nodding politely and doing my little wiggle. She's curtsying to me and I'm curtsying back. She knows I'm ready when she is. She has to make up her mind though, because she is death and she makes that choice, not I. In infancy, I was slowly starving from reflux, had to be hospitalised because I was vomiting up all my food. Whatever they gave me, I vomited and vomited and vomited. That's the level of stress I had already endured in utero, by the way. What I didn't write here was my mother actually also attempted to abort me and it was my sister, my half-sister, who begged for my life. 14 years old, begging for the life of a unborn child, which later she threw in my face and said, "Are you sorry that I begged for your life and I'm the reason that you're alive?" What kind of a cuntish thing to ask your baby sister? So I replied, "No, actually, surprisingly, I'm not sorry, because although my life has been a living fucking hell, at least I had a few happy moments, a few bright, beautiful moments, and I got to have my children, and I got to live with great joy and delight seeing them grow up while they still loved me, until Jasmine turned about 13 and turned rancid. And, what can I say? I'm here alive, sitting here looking at the sun coming out after a murky morning, and I'm not angry that I'm alive. I'm angry that I was surrounded by abusers, but I'm not angry about my own soul, my own spirit, my own body, my own mind, my own life force. I've been fighting this fight since infancy. So I've put great pride and dignity and honour into my own life, whatever is left of it here on planet Earth. So I had to preface that because that was a bit that I kind of left out. I think I was thinking it's just too much for people in a shamanism group to handle, maybe people who've had to abort their own babies or gone through that trauma as well. But it's the real world people. Babies are aborted every day, and even my mother somehow failed at that, and I'm still here. So there was that. I narrowly missed being killed in a landslide, which missed my crib by a metre, aged 6 months. It was also around about the same time I was hospitalised for starving, by the way. Age 3, had surgery to remove a cancerous growth on my mouth. Age 4, nearly died of whooping cough and measles. Age 6, I got contracted bacterial meningitis from the hot pools in Rotorua, New Zealand. 4 other children died from that at that same time. So technically, I should not have survived that either, but did. My mad, bad parents drove from Rotorua, which is about 3.5, 4 hours drive, I think. I can't exactly remember. About 4 hours drive to Wellington, screaming constantly while my head swelled up twice its size. I actually felt like my brains were going to just blow out of my head. Even as a child, I had that consciousness that I was pressed as far up against my skull as I could possibly fit. It was a very frightening feeling. It was like having your head in a vice, being popped like a, big fat squishy tomato. And I floated in and out of my body for hours in the back seat of the car while those assholes screamed, instead of stopping and asking where a local hospital was or a local doctor. They drove with me in that state. The bastards. But I survived. I don't know how. By the grace of my God and the gods, I survived. Aged 6 to 8, suffered from child sexual abuse from my godfather. Also domestic violence, thrown into a glass door by my mother when I was age 6. 6 to 8 were like probably cumulatively the worst years of my life, with the sexual abuse, the molestation, the harassment. Well, then it continued with Case from 9 until 15, really. how many worst years? How can I compare the worst years of my life? Nearly every year in my childhood was a worse year. But anyway, age 7, broken wrist, which happened at a government-mandated health camp for my lungs because I suffered chronic bronchitis from the age of 4 when I had the whooping cough and measles. I was pushed off a monkey bar. That same year, age 7, I had a cut to my knee, which was almost to the bone. Still have the scar. You can just see it there, the faint scar now. It's faded with time. But yeah, that was a really intense traumatic event because my father screamed all the way to the hospital and then screamed at the doctor and just put on a general fucking turn, and the doctor told him that it was actually serious and that whatever had cut into my knee had narrowly missed chipping the bone. And then my father shut the fuck up when he realised how painful and dangerous it actually was, what had happened to me. I had knelt down in long grass, probably was a shard of glass or something. Still to this day, I don't know what cut me. But anyway, it was awful, very awful. Then again, I was reminded how acopic and useless my parents were because I hobbled across the street from the beach home to my house, bleeding from my knee, screaming in agony, and they just screamed at each other and fought about who was going to take me to the hospital. Like, honestly, they were just foul people, really foul, acopic, useless, evil people. Also, age 7. Age 7 was a very dangerous year, by the gods. We had a bad car accident in our Humber Hawk, and I survived with only mild shock. And that car accident, my sister was driving, and I was in the back seat with my brother-in-law, and I think my godfather as well. And Mum was in the front seat with Angela, and she did a right turn off the highway, and someone hit us from behind, and we spun 3 times. And in the process of spinning, I remember thinking, this is how I'm going to die, 7 years old. We were all, time slowed right down, even the adults in the car. Time slowed right down, and there was this deathly silence, and as we got smacked again and again and spun around again, there was this moment. And even when the police, the traffic police or police came, they said, we don't know how you survived that car accident. You should all be dead. I just got a bit of mild shock and came home. We came home by train, and I just threw up. It was not really that big a deal. But my sister broke a collarbone in her arm, Wasn't nice. But anyway. Then also at 7, I nearly fell to my death down a cliff while flax jumping, which I used to jump in flax bushes and use it as a slide down the slippery wide leaves. But I ran out of flax bushes and saw the big drop to the ground, which was about 100 feet. And I thought, if I fall down there, I'm going to die. Would have died, for sure. So there was this moment of panic because I was kind of falling and trying to scramble my way at the same time. That there was this moment again where time slowed right down, and something kind of stepped in and said, calm down, think clearly. You need to get out of this situation or you will die, Tanya. 7 years old. Probably my angel, am I right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to try and climb back up the cliff, which I had slipped down quite the majority of the cliff. It was quite a high cliff. So I had to carefully pull on the flax flax bushes, which were loosened by my sliding down them, my 7-year-old weight, jumping and sliding and jumping and sliding. So they were all very loose. So it was like Mother Nature saying, Tanya, you fuck with us, we'll fuck with you. You've injured us by pushing your body onto a sliding downwards. Now you're going to get a sense of what it feels like when you need us to help you climb back up this cliff. And I would feel the plant almost pulling loose under my weight as I'm pulling myself back up, and it was utterly terrifying. And I don't think I ever went flax jumping again after that. I learnt my lesson. Don't put yourself at great personal risk. Life for myself from the ages to 6 to 8, as I said earlier, was already fraught and dangerous, living with monsters in my family home. Ages 9 to 10, more sexual harassment from my new de facto stepfather, Cornelis van der Graft. Age 11 until recent years, first signs of depression and complex PTSD. And as I said, I also forgot to mention there were actually 3 near drownings that I had. Lynn reminded me of one, but I remembered there was another near drowning when I was 4 years old, when my father took me to Kapiti, Paraparaumu Beach, and was spinning me around in circles in the surf, and I was taking in water and I was nearly drowning, and he was oblivious, just in his own little moment, thinking he's having fun with his child, but I was almost drowning. And then after a while he kind of realised, but small children have been known to drown later on after the event if they've taken enough water. So again, that was another near death. And then there was another near drowning at Lyle Bay when I went with my older friends, the Hoda Makers and Lynn, and the boys were surfing and nearly drowned there. So it was a lot for a child to endure, and not just endure but survive from. Here I write, struggle with asthma and or bronchitis since the whooping cough incident when I was 4, which is true. Age 13, bad abscess on my tooth, so my tooth died, which was this one. Age 29, strangled, came close to death, stared my attacker in the eyes. He let me go, under advice from a fortune teller I'd seen only a few months before. Thought she was feeding me some crazy horror story. It actually came true. Just at the moment as I was about to succumb to death, my beautiful Lombarda queen, I remembered that she'd said to me, hold his gaze no matter what. Don't fight back, say nothing, but hold his gaze. And I did, and I saw the shift in his eyes when he realised he was going too far. And he let me go. It was miraculous, because I was very, very, especially being an asthmatic, close to death in that moment. And I don't know what he saw in my eyes, probably the acquiescence or the acceptance that I was about to die. Or did he see my angel? But he was so frightened, he ran into their apartment and slammed the door and shut himself in, leaving me injured on the balcony. The cowardly fucking low-life entity, scum bastard. You bastard. And then it kept happening. Age 32, strangled by a boyfriend, an Israeli Jewish boyfriend that I got involved with 2 years after my divorce. After 2 years of celibacy, I was ready, thinking, I'm ready to open up to love again. No, I invited that monster into my life, another monster. Age 33, strangled by a new lover, that was David Davidson. and I almost died that year at age 33 of a very severe asthma attack as well. I actually almost died of a severe asthma attack the year I was with Terry Rosilio when I was 32 as well. It was awful, just awful. He was more worried. I rang him, I said I was doing the mowing and I've blacked out. I've had to go and lie in the bed. He said, "Where's my lawnmower? Go and get the lawnmower." He was more worried about that someone might steal his shitty old broken down, barely working lawnmower than the fact that I'd rung him to say, "I think I'm going to die. I'm very ill and I'm seeing stars and I'm blacking out." He was a cunt too. Or he was an evil cunt. But anyway, what can I say, people of Earth? Here I am, still alive, today, strutting my stuff. 2007, aged 42, major surgery. That was the hysterectomy, bladder and vaginal repair. Three surgeries for the price of one. It's getting very hot in here now. Get hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. It's just a hot flush because my skin's actually cool to the touch, so it's not a fever. 2012, age 47, septic arthritis from when I stood on one of my dog's bones that she had been chewing on, and I got infected and I thought I was going to die of that too, to be honest. I was very close to getting gangrene and losing my foot, but that didn't happen, thankfully. But yeah, that was a weird spiritual time in the PA hospital, which I've talked about in stories before, so I won't go into that again. 22nd of August 2015, my suicide attempt, aged 50, just over 50. 3rd of June 2016, I finally weaned myself off all psych meds after I realised that not even death will take me, and the psych meds did not help me. But bear in mind, Lady Death will come to me eventually, comes to us all at our appointed times. Whether we're ready or not, whether we know it's coming or not, it's inevitable. So choose life and live your best life and love who you love, and maybe, just maybe, they might love you back. You might have a wonderful, loving life, and unlike me, you know, in my case, you might not, but keep the dream alive, keep the love alive, keep dancing, keep speaking your truth, keep breathing, keep manifesting, and one day things might just suddenly fall into place and work out for you. You, Tanya, and you, other mortals on planet Earth that have had very difficult and fraught lives like mine. Someday things will work out, and if they don't, well, we won't know about that. We don't know our future. We just carry on day by day, moment by moment, breath by breath, being our true selves, our version of awesome. To you all. 2015 to 2017, 3 summers of teeth, nerve and TMJ joint pain. That was very excruciating. 3 summers I lost due to dry sockets and losing teeth, and that was actually incompetence on the part of the QE2 hospital. They couldn't find a filling under the gum. Kept telling me I was crazy and a codeine addict, by the way. The dirty motherfuckers. Evil they were. Eventually it got fixed, but it took 3 years. 3 fucking years. 2018, summer, from January to March. Nerve pain in my legs, particularly my left leg, would collapse out from under me. Still don't know what caused that. That was awful. Very painful indeed. Current illness. I've got Lyme-like disease that I'm pretty sure they don't believe in Lyme disease here in Australia because they're just pig ignorant. But around about 2016, that period also, I kept getting bitten with monotonous regularity here in the garden by ticks, which also killed my dog Socks and my dog Bella. Well, she died in 2013. So it must have been from about 2013 to 2016. I kept getting bitten by bloody ticks. And that actually made me, I think that contributed to the nerve pain, to be honest, because it was just unexplained. Came from nowhere, went just as quickly away by itself. It was odd. Current illness. This was back in 2018 when I was writing this, so they were cut out in 2019. But at that point in time, current illness, gallstones, fatty liver. The fatty liver is a non-alcoholic variety caused by 15 years of psychiatric meds and my tendency to eat fried foods and unhealthy foods. Obstructive sleep apnea, reflux. I still suffer with complex PTSD and occasional suicidal ideation, which is why I'm still in therapy and I see my psychiatrist every 2 weeks for a debrief. So he can just kind of monitor me and keep an eye on me and make sure I'm not spiraling right under, as from time to time I do under intense pressures. The spirits simply won't let me go, laughing out loud. And here I write on the shamanism group, but I've owned it now. But back then I was reluctant to take it on as another label. But here I write, I may not be a shaman. I am a Jew and an ancestral witch. I am alive against all odds. And when more sensible women would have died by now, meaning by my own hand, I would have just exited stage left and finished the job properly. But unfortunately, the gods kept vomiting me back to earth. So, I realised I'm not allowed to die by my own hand. The only way that will happen is if I get news that I have Alzheimer's or dementia, because I refuse to be put in those waiting rooms of death, or if I get some other terminal diagnosis for which I know there'll be no coming back from, then I very likely will die by my own hand. And I know it's kind of a cowardly way out, but after the life I've had, I never ever want to be vulnerable to another human being when I am either, have no cognition and can't advocate or fight for myself, or dependent on them administering me constant pain relief, so you're constantly at the mercy of some other mortal. I won't allow that to happen to me. I've had enough abuse in my entire, including in recent years, being abused when I had to put my animals down by vets. It's not going to happen. I won't allow it. Won't allow it. I have spoken. So if you ever hear that I've suicided, I'm not suicidal at the moment. I'm not actively suicidal. I'm loving and living my best life. But if you ever hear that I've actually suicided, that will be why. It's because I've realised that there's no coming back from whatever, future malaise or illness I have, and there's no other way out to go out in a dignified, safe for me way. Then you will know that was why. But however, as always, I fight every single day of my life to stay alive, because I know after the last suicide attempt in 2015, when I was sent back, and again after the 2019 event with the gallbladder surgery where I nearly died. See, that's not recorded down here because it happened later. But they told me, the spirits, we're sending you back to a hellscape of epic proportions. But you, my dear, will be okay. And well, I'm not totally okay. I'm still struggling with my health issues and not having the love I want and, struggling. But I didn't succumb to COVID like many other people did in the beginning. So there is that. And I was protected by the spirits, even when I got COVID last October. It was one of the most spiritual illnesses I've ever had in my life, because I fought it with everything I had. And it was actually not that severe. It was no worse feeling than I feel now with this bit of a chest cold, actually. So there is that. They put the fear of God into us over, by and large for most people was nothing more than a sniffle. That's the truth. Some people died horrific deaths, and I don't know what the concomitant or comorbidities were, but mysteriously I did not get the first wave. So it's a bit weird and bizarre, people of Earth. And as I said to you earlier, we all are destined to die of something. We don't know what, So don't live in fear of death. In real terms, there is no actual death. We go on and we continue on in other forms in the light. Of course, we leave behind this physical shell of our own existence that we're in now, but we take our knowledge and our love and our spirit with us. And that is an energy that is never lost, by the way. You can't lose it. So I hope that gives you hope, those of you who are feeling a bit at times frightened, that there's nothing when we die and we just go into the earth and that's the end of you. You can hold on to that belief system if you're comfortable with that. But I happen to know it's not true, because I've been through it many, many times. There is something far, far greater and far, far more beautiful and powerful beyond this earthly existence. I've come back from it too many times without even getting the whole experience, by the way. But I know it's real, and I know it's there or here or all around us in another dimension that we can't quite see or touch or feel, but every now and then something pokes through the veil and we get to see. The spirit world is real, just as real as we are, and we need to honour that, show it respect and, love and honour, and remember that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. So here I write, I am alive against all odds, and when more sensible women would have died by now. I am whom I am becoming, mostly alone, unloved except by the spirits and a few rare friends and my pets. I am done with this life, but I am still very much here and go dancing each weekend, even with former lovers coming to taunt me. That motherfucker Dave, am I right? And Marco, and there were a few others that used to float past it, like, oh really? What are you coming to look at? A woman that you weren't capable of loving, that you weren't man enough to treat with decency and honour and integrity, or even genuine kindness or love. You're still coming to look at me though. What is it that they could see or wanted to see? Maybe I am far too resilient. Maybe I am far too valuable to my trickster gods. Maybe I will let it go. Let it all go one day. Well, we will. We have no choice but to let it all go one day. So we'll be leaving this planet the same way we came in. Rebirthing into another paradigm. Like a light switch, walking into one room and into another instantaneously at times. Other times trapped in some kind of limbo because you've done too much rot to people, and the best you can do is run up her steps and bang on her door. David Davidson. He tries to blame me for being trapped, but I'm not the reason he's trapped. I let him go graciously, far too graciously than he deserves. So if he's trapped, it's because he did far too much damage to many, many other women. Don't come and bring your gaslighting and blaming to me, Davidson. I know exactly what kind of man you were and still are, even in the spirit realms. Here I respond to someone. I didn't record their message, but I wrote back, "Thank you. I don't feel amazing. Mostly just very, very broken. But I am like kintsugi, moulded by spiritual gold and carrying on. Strangulations were men trying to destroy me. The first one was set up by my husband. I was separating. The second two were partners. I gave up on love and sexuality for many years after. That I did. Child sexual abuse leaves a stain for the rest of our lives. Hard to overcome it and attract truly good, kind people. But I keep believing in myself, as I have survived so many monsters, mostly from my own family. My vicious half-sister actually bought me a talk about 15 years ago. When it wore out, my elder daughter, Crystal, bought me another one in Glastonbury, a Viking one. I remember I showed this to you the other day. With the wolf heads. She knows Mama T runs with the wolves, and I have a wolf spirit guide. They recognise my status as a warrior goddess, as I survived even their cruelties. Indeed I did. It was hard to survive it too. It was no mean feat, by the way. By the gods. I don't know how I keep going, to be honest. If not for my joyous Friday nights out dancing wildly with my beautiful bands, right now in this life, I'd have nothing to look forward to. Nothing at all. It is what it is. It seems so absurd that one woman could be dogged by so much evil. Yes, it does. My daughter threw in my face about my suicide attempt on Christmas Eve, which hurt me greatly. But I know it is my mother's evil spirit riding her, as I moved her old couch out of my house a week before Christmas Eve. This was in 2018, I was writing this, by the way, a few days after Christmas on the 28th. My mother was German and a Lutheran. I converted to Judaism when I was 19. So being vicious on Christmas Eve was an old family trope which my daughter was unable to resist. So fuck all that shit. If all the gods are one, interconnected unity, then it's all bollocks. But my mother still will not cede control, even almost 9 years after her death. And interestingly, it actually took that couch being thrown out for her energy to kind of leave at long last. But there was that last kind of rupture and disturbance in the field where she was angry about the couch going and probably had so much energy put in that couch from farting and sitting on it for years that was the last of her real intense energy to leave. And there was this disturbance in the field where my daughter just got literally jumped in by my mother. I'm certain of it, soul ridden by her, and was just so nasty to me and awful. And I just thought, this isn't even all you. Someone else is riding on you right now. Luckily, I have the spiritual practice to recognise that when I see temporary possessions like that, so I don't get upset too much. I just go, get out of my house, you're not welcome here, come back when you can behave. And oddly, sometimes all it would take would be for her to step outside and just be out of the home for a few moments, take a few deep breaths, come in with a better attitude. She'd come in, I go, are you okay now? Yes, Mum. And you could see the shift. Whatever it was that was riding on her was gone, you know. It was actually quite astonishing. My daughter is a shaman like me, but she's too easily jumped in and manipulated and ridden on by the Dibble-Keem in the family line, my mother and other entities, that it's actually quite frightening to witness. Very frightening to witness, especially me as her mother, having to say, no, I don't know who you are, but you have to get out of my daughter right now. One time she was soul ridden by my mother. Bear in mind, we all look very much like my mother, but I could see my mother's features. She was taking on all her features. I just said, get out of my daughter, Gisela. And Crystal started fighting me, and I went, don't fight me, bitch. Get out of my daughter now. And I could literally see the face shifting and becoming more my daughter again, and this look of kind of relief. And she was completely unconscious of it, completely unconscious. That's how I knew it was a form of possession. So my story that I wrote on, it's up on Vocal Media, about the Dybbuk on the roof. All of that is real, by the way. All spoke the truth about all of those events. People don't realise when I'm telling these stories that I'm actually telling the truth, by the way. It's just too frightening for your mind to take in sometimes. And it's like, I've had to live it, people of Earth. I'm still living it. So that's why I have the old saying, no one fucks with the Tanya, because I've lived it. I walk my walk and talk my talk and dance my dance. It's like, don't like me, fine. Walk away. Don't try to cause me damage or harm. Just go be awesome somewhere else. Just be thine own self. But don't try and fuck with me, especially when I've done you no harm. Here I write, I carry hefty karma. My grandmother suicided when she was 54. I will be 54 in April, but I think I will be okay. Had my little tango with Lady Death 3 years ago and was saved by spirits nagging a psychic friend to check on me. She resisted all night long, but the spirits kept nagging her. I was very angry at the time to be stymied against my own will. After the heartache again with my daughter a few days ago, the This was in 2018. I wonder why I am kept alive. That should say, I wonder what I am kept alive for. Infuriating, but I am alive, so that is that. Here I reply again, I don't know. My timeline is constantly tweaked or interfered with. It gets harder to stay on Earth as each year passes. Start CPAP, gets a nose cold. What the fuck? My body doesn't like any interference against its dying at all. It fights every inch of the way. As a shaman, I'm in a constant state of choosing life, choosing life, choosing life. I am healing, I am healthy, I am well, I am prosperous, I am truly greatly loved in a loving, committed relationship which is equal and respectful and honouring, him to me and me to him, loyal and faithful. We are surrounded by our friends and family and tribe and community who honour both of us and treat us with equal measure of love and respect. I am prosperous. Those are my manifestations, by the way. Can you even quantify surprise and delight when, even though I'm not in a love partnership with a man yet, that I'm seeing all the ingredients all laid out in front of me, the welcoming and the honouring of my spirit and the kindness and sweetness shown towards me in the Brooklyn Standard Club, as though I was already in a loving relationship with the man that I adore, but is ironically not available. But all the building blocks, all the manifestations that I've been praying for are already there. All it will take is for me to discover who the man is that truly loves me and wants to be in a partnership with me, in a loving, sexual, mutually exclusive, loyal, faithful partnership with me, as I'm trying not to die every fucking day of my life. It's absurdist, but I'm witnessing it with great surprise and delight at times. So that manifestation is starting to unfurl, and I just have to hope that it keeps solidifying into something beautiful and real at long last. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting, rather patiently, given how shitty my health has been for years now, hoping against hope, I'm still dancing my dance joyously and triumphantly and wildly, because with or without you, the man I love, or is supposed to love me back, whoever that person might be in the future, with or without that person manifesting in my life and 3D reality and intimacy with me and deep love and affection, the dance must continue for as long as my health holds out, that I can still get up on my feet and breathe and dance. I'll be doing that, I hope and pray, until the day I die, or until I get too old and frail, whichever comes first. But anyway, here I write, but I promised myself a good life before I leave this mortal coil. Still holding on for an authentic love partner. That was back in 2018, and now it's the 10th of July 2024, and I'm still holding on. I'm holding on to that dream, hoping that one day it becomes a reality. It hasn't happened in 53 years. So what the fuck is that about? Try 59 years. What the fuck is that about? Only the gods know. But they're determined to keep me alive on this planet. Even my psychiatrist tells me he's determined to keep me alive on this planet. So someone out there in the higher realms knows that all my dreams are about to come true. And I don't know when that will happen, but I'm seeing the signs, concrete signs of real solid loving friendships and real honour and integrity shown me, even stopping me from moshing my neck, my classic 360 degree mosh, because he feared my injuring myself. Caring and nurturing, which I act up a bit about, to be honest, because I don't like losing my agency. But, you know, real friends loving me is the best that they have to offer from within their own heart and souls. That's been shown to me in the past 12 months, really. 12 months to 2 years, really. So I need just be patient and wait for the right one and the right circumstances, and all will be revealed at the appointed time as ordained and decreed by the gods, the Holy One, and all manifestations of love, light, truth, and holiness, and honour and integrity and respect for this little spirit here. But here I write, but the gods keep me for their entertainment or emotional torture victim. Who knows? I guess I'll find out one day when I transfer my essence to the Ein Sof Or. Addendum, I came close to death again on the night of the 25th and 26th of June 2019 after my gallbladder surgery, which is called a cholecystectomy. It was an epic fight the next morning with the specialist team and my daughter when she picked me up. But at time of posting this, 17th of September 2019, I'm slowly healing. I've had a beautiful few days and I remain stoically determined to have my beautiful life, even if it seems absurdist and delusional. I'm not giving up on love, life, or my personal healing. Winky face. And here I am now, almost 5 years later, still not giving up, even though at times I kind of want to be honest, but still fighting forwards, babies, every day in every way. I am a warrior goddess. I need to add to the near-death thing that during my mother's gestation with me, we talked about that, my mother attending an abortion clinic with my then 14-year-old half-sister intending to abort me. Angela, who in that instance performed the function of a real mother, painful for me to acknowledge after all the abuse, but important, as it was a hefty emotional burden on a teenage girl who herself had just survived child sexual abuse from the ages of 6 to 10, begged our mother to keep me while sitting in the waiting room of the abortion clinic. My mother later informed me as an adult woman that she had had 5 abortions after Angela's birth, performed by a Jewish doctor in return for sexual favours in post-war Germany, as poverty was endemic. That after, what a chutzpah in a way, but men are men, that's what they do. It's probably his idea of getting revenge for the Holocaust too, to be honest. But men are men, take advantage of vulnerable women needing abortions. That after arriving in New Zealand in 1956, she stopped having periods for years due to the trauma of migrating to a new country with her abusive second husband, who she quickly divorced. Then she fell pregnant with me, with her third husband, my father, David Ian Phillips. So I had already experienced the feeling of being unwanted in utero, and after being delivered 1 month early by caesarean due to Gisela suffering toxemia, as it was an emergency delivery, I was a failure to thrive baby, suffering terrible reflux and was literally starving and ended up hospitalised. I was fed 2 whole bottles of formula at one sitting, burped, then passed out and slept for 24 hours. And the funny story connected to that was the next day the nurse, the midwife or the nurse or whoever was in charge of that feeding process, rang my mother up and she said, "Mrs. Phillips, do you have a cow behind your house?" My mother said, "No, why?" She said, "You're going to need it with your baby. She's a hungry baby." And she drank 2 whole bottles of formula, which is the equivalent of 500 mils. Burped and passed out. We haven't heard peep from her since. She's that hungry. Of course, they're making a joke of it, but personally, I don't find that fucking funny, that I was that starved, that I needed that much formula to satisfy my little infant body. Am I right? Get a cow behind your house. Yeah, well, just feed me properly, you cows. But anyway, to this day, I need to be well satiated. That last surgery was incredibly fraught, but I'm fully engaged with life again. I'm grateful and happy to be alive and thoroughly lapping up love and kindness and support from all my beloveds. Meaning friends, as I still don't have a lover to this day, people of Earth. Anyway, thank you. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Also happy to say that with that couch, the Horcrux, leaving my home on the 26th of February, there has finally been a releasing of my mother's Alta Hexa, that's German for old witch, spirit. It took until recently for the weight of her oppression to finally lift. May she finally find rest and peace with the Ein Sof Or and stay away from me for the rest of eternity. Amen. V'Salah. I pray our soul contracts with each other are finally done. I truly do. Here I write, attention, Whites Hill Family Medical, Health Rights Commission, Queensland Health, Max Chandler Mather MP Greens, Griffith, Dr. Brian Ross, psychiatrist. I'm being systematically killed. That should say systemically culled, systemically culled. Yes, I was indeed at that point in time. No jokes, no exaggeration, no hyperbole. I just received a phone call from my doctor's receptionist, 4 exclamation marks, to inform me that I need to have a PCR before getting an appointment tomorrow morning for her to listen to my chest. I said, "What do I need a PCR test for? I already gave you a negative rat test the other day, so you know I don't have COVID." The receptionist quavers and tells me that PCR will pick up other respiratory issues. I smell bullshit. I told her, so I'm being made to jump through hoops to access basic medical care now. Frankly, I would rather die. Did I read this story yesterday or the day before? I feel like I've repeated this. I think I did. Yes, I remember reading that out about not being able to get the Gardachrome she prescribed and her handing the scissors to do it myself. And here me writing, imagine how actual COVID patients have been treated with all the discrimination, which was immense, by the way. Yeah, this is a repeat. I won't carry on reading that, not repeating the same thing ad nauseum. It's just so traumatizing. Can you see my face? Like just reading it, that I'm triggered and traumatized. Reading again how that evil doctor let me down. Here I write, I'll just sum it up where I wrote. PPS, I'm tired, older, vulnerable with my ever fragile health. I've been fighting to stay alive since very early childhood. I just want to be treated with basic courtesy, respect, to have my basic health concerns taken seriously when I can barely breathe. I know you hope to cull the vulnerable population, meaning the ageing and those of us dependent on the state via our disability pensions. I know they want to cull us all. Via medical neglect or other atrocities, but I am still standing in my light and my integrity. Here I write, 11:26 p.m. Damn, my TV just died again. It only works for my friend Jared of the magical electronic fingers. He just walks in and goes, hits a button, it works perfectly. For me, it wouldn't do anything. It was weird. It's weird. It's back to flashing red and won't turn on manually again. However, I had a lovely afternoon and evening at West End drumming, and after that had dinner with 3 lovely men I met at drumming. A most unexpected and spontaneous delight, something I would never normally do, by the way, so really out of left field. But they were lovely men. One was an African-American man who'd come over from, originally from America, but had been living in Melbourne. He invited us all out for dinner, actually. So me and the other 2 guys who were much younger, we all went along, and yes, it was very interesting. Very nice evening. We had such a lovely time together that several hours flew by. So who needs TV when we have real-world connections with real, authentic and kind people? Thanks again to Belinda for the gift of the Shaman drum. Here it is here. It's more decorative than actually good for a shamanic drum because it doesn't give out much of a sound, but it's lovely and I'm still grateful for it and appreciate it. And I sit it on top of my djembe drum, which I do use for my shamanic trance drummings. Anyway, for my own purposes, not for anyone else. Just they wouldn't get it, it'd be just too great. But anyway, it's a lovely drum, and thank you, Belinda. I'm feeling very blessed and contented. Magic happens when you are in the flow and keep your mind crystal clear and your heart open. Indeed it does. New friends and spontaneity and joy. Yeah, baby. 10th of July 2021. Had a long sleep in, much needed, but I feel like a scoured out carapace, like a mummy that has had all her internal organs removed and been hollowed out. In shamanism, it's called the hollow bone when you're channeling messages from the spirit realms, literally moving through you as though you were hollow. And they're moving their part of me, their essence or energies, and using you. It's kind of a form of possession too, in a way. But here I write, even my bones squished against my rib cage, feeling like I am just a hollow chrysalis, shining bright and buffeted by the winds of fate while hanging from the tree of life. It's a strange sensation to feel like I am physically empty inside, but my organs are missing except for my brain, which is threaded down onto my head like a sentient lifeline from some external source, like a ventilator in a matrix. Don't worry, I am fully present and cognizant. It's just the illness and stress and grief taking its toll. My soul recompartmentalizing me as she, capital S, she, so cleverly does, so I can become another version of me for the next onslaught or adventure. Please let it be adventures and no more onslaughts. Frankly, my dear, I can't take much more. I wonder what God will do to me when they, capital T, have finally divested me of all my pets and everything and everyone I love, what they think I will be. Will I be rich? Will I be happy? Will I be pretty? Will I be whatever? Que sera, sera. I am whom I am, and I am not alone. I have bright and fierce and beautiful friends, and even that RSPCA inspector was on my side. A validation. To be or not to be, that is the question. In the smoky, burnt-out days of grief and distress and societal atrophy, all we have is our own power to create and to be every expression of love we can muster from the crackling embers of our desecrated souls. Maybe I am hollowed out and fed by some mother butterfly out there in the cosmos, the nectar needed so I can fly. Indeed. Ah, bollocks, poetic hyperbole and self-immolating, pitiful bathos. Time to get with the program and take my remaining pets for a walk. The wind is blustery though. I will need to rug up and wear a scarf to protect my mouth and lungs. Maybe I will have breakfast first, then I will feel less blighted and empty, lol. This morning's musing, dark, lol. I am the lightning rod and the flagellant's whipping post, the fiery fury and the incandescent love. I am the entrance to the world of dreams and the clusterfuck of entrophied shit that moulders away into nothingness, leaving only a trace of whom I have been. I am the shadow on the walk and the banshee wailing clarion call. Wake up, begin again from the fibrous grains of yesteryear's dust and salted tears. Life reforms in 1,000 kaleidoscopic patterns. Watch and learn from the natural world and take comfort there. Back from my walk, was barely able to breathe with my mask on, happy to take it off when I got home and suck real, fresh but bitterly cold air into my lungs, my little acrid powerhouses that gift me every single moment of my life. I would let out a triumphant, primal scream, such as could be heard across all 11 dimensions, or is it 13 they've discovered now? But fuck me, I lack the capacity right now, lol. Hear me roar, albeit symbolically. There is only one way to root out evil. Confront it. Call it by its true name and claim it. Reach down into the pot of your own despair and scream its name. Evil is goodness, unmet, unqualified. The cowardice turned into savagery. The thing that picks off my beloved pets one by one, that in the height of that crisis turned RSPCA admin staff and veterinary bloodsuckers into venal monsters. Why? They fear the truth, scared of a cough and a cold, an institution that deals in death daily. Such unprofessionalism and cowardice. I hope they burn in hell. I still do, by the way. You can add the Animal Welfare League to that one as well. The bastards. But what is really the price of my love for my cat that even I could not keep alive with diabetes? Ah well, Socks. You were loved beyond all mortal ken, and I know you are at peace now. I'm sorry I could not be with you in your final moments, but we will scatter your ashes under your tree, and you will abide in my heart forever, like all my other deceased fur and feather children. That demon god that stole you away from us can sit back down for a while. No, wasn't fucking satisfied, was it? Took Beauregard last year too. By all the gods. By all the gods. Beauregard is grieving today also. It's palpable. When I'm over this chest cold, I will smudge the house. Death and I are going to have a very ugly divorce. If I could punch her in the face for what she just put us all through, I would. But violence never solved anything. Darkness must be met with light. Flesh and ashes and pestilent seething rage, enough to burn down this filthy, treacherous city. But even that won't clean it. So I will start with clearing out my own heart, opening channels of light like portals of fresh air, purifying light and sanctification. I've broken out in cold sores and pustules from the stress from wearing the mask. Fuck COVID. Fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck. Fuck all those ignoble BDSM death cult cowards that weaponized it. Terrorizing a population to the extent that euthanizing my cat became such a nightmare. Imagine how those poor people in hospitals are being brutalized for contracting the actual virus. The arrant unprofessionalism and ordinary sadism. By that I'm referencing them being forced onto ventilators, which was not good for their lungs, given they were already struggling, and the midazolamine and the barbiturates, which went on right across the globe and is a point of fact, by the way. Here I write, fuck it all. But little by little I shall overcome. I've just had a fucking epiphany. It's probably why I'm so sick, from having the air forced into my lungs, which is like a miniature ventilator, by the way. If I carry on not recovering from this chest thing, reaction to that, I'll have to give up on the CPAP, because it verily, verily will be killing me. Just like the ventilators in hospitals, people trying not to die with COVID. Jesus. Well, I won't invoke that God, since he was a traitor to me in my childhood, sending me paedophile after paedophile after paedophile. Lest day, indeed. But little by little I shall overcome. I will keep speaking to truth and stand in my own honour. Let everything else fall. Dust to dust, ashes to ashes. But rich compost from which new life and beauty and vitality will evolve again. It always does, as that is the nature of the universe. Excuse me one moment. July 10th, 2020. My daughter refuses to hug me. Long before COVID became a thing. Came to be a thing, I wrote. Oh dear Goddess. I want to cry when I think about it. Crying won't help me though, babies. I have to keep emanating light and love and letting those who love me enfold me in their love and show me that they're true and real and have my back and my front and my sides and value and cherish and adore me. Because that's all I'm holding on for now. Those scraps of love that emanate holistically and wholesomely, truthfully and authentically. That's all I'm holding on for, babies. I have been treated worse than a leper. Maybe I should shed my body parts and step into a new light, some place and or space where I'm valued and cherished. Sighs. It's a lifetime of a dream that psychedelic dreamer has not been able to manifest. God only knows how I have tried. I will not let my familial neglect and abuse sadden me. I will create my own love out of the shredded discards of yesterday and rebuild my life so joyously and perfectly that no one will ever harm or disappoint me again. That's the plan, people of Earth. 4 years on. That's the plan. Interesting. At 10:36 p.m, while sitting on the lounge watching Relic on Stan, I heard the little bells that hang on my back door tinkle. Ringing bells is a sign that spirit, or indeed fairy, are around. Bobo barked and looked at me in alarm. More due to his reaction, I walked into the kitchen. I thought perhaps one of the cats had brushed against the string of bells. No cats. The bells were still now. The door was closed, so no breeze. So, I guess if it is a family ancestor, they will make themselves known in more obvious ways. It might be the Fae, who like to let me know they are around also. Bobo searched around near the back door. He seemed on high alert. All good, no harm, no foul. My people, meaning my spirit people, protect me. Especially, I've got to go and get more toilet paper, one moment. Especially as I called them down today. I pray for peace, happiness, good, kind and truest of loves, and prosperity and good health. Sei gesund, keine Horror. The Tanya is done. I should have asked for telehealth. It's probably too late to ask now. Jesus. Anyway. My urologist had an appointment with me yesterday at 9:30. Completely didn't ring me. Telehealth appointment. Completely blew it off. I guess they're very busy and it doesn't really matter in the broad scheme of things. Keine Horror, by the way, means no evil eye. Keep the evil ones away from me. There's been quite enough evil, by the way. July 10th, 2020. I'm having constant connectivity problems with my Wi-Fi. Yesterday I saw NBN technicians working on my line. It's now worse. What the fuck am I paying for? Substandard service. Utterly disgusted. 10th July 2019. I made an appointment with my GP tomorrow. Apparently she has not been sent a copy of the pathology report, which I find extremely odd, given it states that I may need to see her if any complications, and they want these communicated back to them. How can she communicate when she doesn't have the relevant information to hand? It's absurd. So they were literally gaslighting, obfuscating their roles, scapegoating, and shuffling me like a shuttlecock after that dreadful surgery on the 25th and 26th of June 2019. Motherfuckers is what they are and were. I would tell her how weak and fatigued and unwell I am and about the alleged cardiac issues. She never once picked up on them and actually told me to dance 5 nights a week, as I am strong as an ox and will live to a ripe old age. Thank God I listened to my own body and cut back on the dancing to 1 night, which was all I could manage in recent months. I went dancing on Saturday and would not have done if I had received the pathology report earlier. I was still weak and struggled with the exertion, even though I was careful and sat down to rest frequently. Talk about drive myself to an early grave. I had blood tests before the colonoscopy in March, and this was not picked up back then. So what the actual fuck is going on? I guess she will try to put me on warfarin, which is not something I want. My father was on that. In the end, she did put me on a Holter meter to test my heart. My heart was fine. So don't know what that pathology report was going on about. It was all bollocks. So there you go. I had another reprieve from yet another frightening illness. And but they had me all chasing my tail, going round and round in circles, thinking that I was on my last legs. But then she said, oh, you're strong as an ox and will live to a ripe old age. Well, I don't know about that. But I am strong as an ox when I put my mind to it. I've seen how I go through various winds, even with the dancing, how strong physically my body is. You know what really grinds my gears? All the love I poured into superficial fake friends or former lovers and family with a broken and I discover now damaged heart. I gave and gave and gave, and for what? Only to face death yet again. And it's beautiful and terrifying and fucking majestic and even magical. I am the Tanya, and my perpetual love even blows my own mind. Yes, it does indeed at times. My capacity to love is astonishing at times. 10th of July 2018. Here's a little girl. Here's a little girl I used to know. Here's looking at you, kid. If you knew then what you knew now, you would have let that fucking whooping cough take you. But you didn't. You fought back. You fought back with everything you had. I was 3 years old in that photo. Quite cold this morning. I'm waiting for Crystal to bring my car back, as I was too ill to drive her home last night. Might put on a warm jacket and sit with a cup of tea in the sun like I did yesterday. Probably should do that today too. Coming to spy on his mama. Back when we thought Charlie was a male bird. Oh. There you go. Whoops, there he is, a mover and a shaker, even if he is a semi-naked bird. She climbed up my skirt and onto my top where I was sitting. She does that, she climbs all over me in the garden. It's lovely. Well, I got through the initial trauma of having my face rearranged. So far, no dry socket. Still quite sore in my jaw. Crystal and Jared were wonderful to me. They cooked a delicious shepherd's pie with sweet potatoes and an apple crumble. Gluten-free, dairy-free for their food allergies, and soft food for my mouth. I dozed on and off, and Crystal brought me Panadol and or codeine, which helped with the initial pain. I think I'll be able to manage without pain relief today, so that is really good. Anyway, today I'm going to my hairdresser Kylie, so that will also be lovely. I'm feeling very peaceful and content, even though I'd just been to the fucking dentist. I'm intrepid, you know. I just keep moving on as if nothing's happened. I just keep push like a Mustang quay. Watching oracles, reptilians, and the divine feminine on Open Minds on Gaia.com. Fascinating. I've been seeing 11s all day. My intuition was very on point last week, surprisingly so. I often get dream messages, animal or bird messages, and sudden weather changes. So ho hum. I love my connection to the universe. It is not always subtle as this article suggests. I've had some fairly blunt and dramatic messages come my way. Of course, it only made sense some months or years later when I finally connected the dots, because in fight or flight survival mode, you don't have the equilibrium or clarity of mental space to see what is really going on, especially when surrounded by narcissists, psychopaths, and fucking acting out borderlines who are jealous and competitive. Horrible people. I wrote this in response to an article, 14 sure signs that the universe is trying to guide you towards someone or something. Pardon me, I wonder why my reflux is so bad today. It's unusual. It's been bad the last few days, hasn't it? I've been sitting here quietly burping all through my videos. Gross. I would be really excited if only I could afford a new vacuum cleaner, lol, I wrote in 2018. My current Norfisk is 23 years old. Best brand ever. The Talus before that, which was also the Norfisk company, before that was still working when I replaced it. Yeah, same company. The Talus was 25 years old. I would like to buy a Dyson next time, something less heavy to lug around the house. All good. And here it was in response to a meme that says, one moment you're really young and cool, and the next you're getting all excited about a new vacuum cleaner. Oh, here I write, manifest, my darling, manifest. Mine is still working, but not very well anymore. And I did indeed buy one, half price too. I got it full. It was a very good buy. Which reminds me, I need to go to Bunnings and buy a Torque screwdriver attachment set to pull my Bosch washing machine apart to replace the rubber seal I bought on eBay, which reminds me I need another rubber seal. Damn, hugs. It's insane how much we struggle and how creative we have to be just to survive our own lives. I really, really miss when I had a cleaning lady many, many years ago. And yeah, a year later I manifested a cleaning lady who comes and does the floors in the bathrooms for me via the Islamic Women's Association. So it was a lovely surprise, coming from an unusual source too. Well, lol, if I stopped getting my hair done, my one big splurge every 6 weeks, I could get a vacuum cleaner in about a year or two, lol. But I would much rather feel pretty than have expensive equipment and a clean house. Here I posted a meme. I don't understand your specific kind of crazy, but I do admire your total commitment to it. And I replied, said every person who has ever met me, ever. Winky face. Here I posted a photo of myself, healing and all glamorous again. Thanks, Kylie. Isn't that interesting? Exactly one day after I got my hair done yesterday. But I like to express appreciation and gratitude to, my friends and people that provide me a service. Well, Kylie is a friend after many years. I've been going to her since 2011, so 13 years. But Yeah, I always post a photo up of when I've just had my hair freshly done. Still looking quite good today, actually. Usually after I sleep on it, it gets really, buffed out. But I suppose because I had the mask on and all the straps holding it in place, it stayed looking quite lovely. So thanks, Kylie. I look good. I look good for a change. Hopefully my lungs settle down and my nose settles down so I can go dancing on Friday night. 2 more sleeps, so don't know about that one. We'll see. Lila Tov Kula, good night you all. I have had a beautiful day. I met a lovely woman while getting our hair done who was fascinating to talk with. I had a call from my friend Lynn to see how my mouth was healing. So far so good, although a bit sore tonight. Oh, bless Tanya. Lynn sent me a beautiful photo of her 6-month-old granddaughter. Then I had another call from Crystal to check on me. She had been at an industry do and was excited about her career. Awesome. I cooked dinner late in the evening as I had not felt well enough to be bothered to cook, but then I got ravenous. So magic happened. Lol. Now time to sleep. 10th of July 2017. Charlie meets Mr. Crow. A second later, Charlie attacked Mr. Crow. Crow backed off immediately. Never mess with the psychedelic dreamer's rainbow body. Here she is. The standoff between, can you see it? Between Charlie and the crow. I was really shocked that she attacked the crow. He's like 4 times her size. I think the crow was just as surprised too at being attacked by such a small little bird. Rachel Finucci asked, was that a Psycho Dreamer's rainbow body? And I replied, rainbow body is my tongue-in-cheek nickname for Charlie the rainbow lorikeet. Rainbow body is a perfected state that enlightened ones in Tibet and India left after 13 years of pure thoughts and meditation. Their bodies shrank to ashen dolls and rainbows were seen above their homes or temples for 7 days as they transmigrated into the next paradigm. Interesting stuff. Actually, my Charlie, rainbow body, is about as enlightened as a turd which he regularly squirts into my hair and clothing. He just hung his feathery asshole over my head and let it rip right onto my head. Deliberately. He is in the tree and could poop from any vantage point, but the psychedelic dreaming Tanya gets all his lovin' each and every time. But shit happens, and so does magic, turning shit to spiritual gold since 1965. Welcome to sacred space. Rachel replied, I was referring to the feathered rainbow body warrior. Lorries can be psycho. I have known a few. That's why I now have a conure. It's just not as psycho. Yes, they can be quite psycho, actually. She has her moments. Had to vacuum the floors within 5 minutes of each other. I broke an antique syringe in a beautiful blue glass jar. Glass everywhere. Took me ages to find all the shards from the jar. Gar. I bought a big jar of coconut oil and almost broke that too. Glad I didn't, as it is a large jar and cost me $12 on special. Pissed off about the antique syringe. It looked cool with my gothic scientific collection on top of the spice rack. Apart from breaking glass this afternoon, I have been plagued by an epic chocolate craving, which I have starved off by making homemade pizza on Lebanese bread. Pizza was delicious, but still not chocolate. I'm going to get up and make a hot chocolate instead. I've eaten a lot of chocolate last week, and this is no way to live, as it will only blow out my weight and then slowly kill me. Arg. But the Tanya wants her precious. No, no way, just for today. My guy shall not siege the blanket. Bloody bollocking, fur-brained brat. What? Me worry? My beautiful boy, hogging the blanket. 10th of July, 2016. 4:44 a.m. I just woke up. I owe Annette Highlands an apology. Annette, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot that I promised to help you move house for a few hours yesterday. I don't know how I could have done that, as it was only the day before that I said I would come over if I woke up in the afternoon. But instead, I spent the afternoon at the dog park, then later went dancing. I felt off last night and thought it was exhaustion and asthma. Then it just hit me. I'm so sorry. Moving house is so traumatic, and I'm sorry I let you down. And I made it up to her. I actually went and helped her later on, a few days after that. Feeling happy, supported, loved by being seen and unseen. Thank you, God and the angels. The tweaking of my life has been huge, but I can see your great work behind my rather unusual life circumstances. I apologize for all my tantrums when I thought you, Hashem, no longer believed in me and no longer cared for me. I have been a cosmic brat of the highest order, laughing my ass off. Shit happens, but so does love, man. And it is our greatest gift. Before your light, let them humble themselves, but you raise us up from the dust and the ashes and ennoble us in ways that only the most broken can be blessed. I am your much beloved warrior, no escaping my reality. But knowing I am yours gives me succor in sad and strange times and situations. Holy, 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 Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Only angels and fools like me can dance in this sublime tomfoolery and laugh in the face of our madness. For I am the psychedelic dreamer, and this is your dream too. Wake up, but dream beautifully. I'm getting dressed now to honour my commitment to my beautiful friend Annette, whom I let down yesterday, but I can still assist today. Phew, glad to be able to keep my word. 8:21 p.m. Home from a busy but nice day, helping Annette unpack her house. Beauregard was obsessed with her new 6-week-old ginger kitten. He was less fascinated. Hearing his tiny spit at the dog and fluffing himself up to make himself look scary was hilarious. Here I posted a meme or a scene from, I think it was from Black Books. Nothing quite compares to the terror of an unexpected visit from your parents. We left a message to say we were coming for the weekend and you didn't ring us back, so we're just down the road kind of thing. And it's Manny going, ah! I'll show you. It's nothing like seeing with your own eyes. Manny doing this. And I feel something about how he feels. Unexpected visits from my parents were most unwelcome too, for vastly different reasons, or maybe the same. I know the feeling. In fact, I lived that nightmare for decades. Oh, watching a little birdie out there, all fluffed up. Indian myna bird, having a drink. 10th of July 2015, 9:06 a.m. I was having a most unpleasant little trauma dream about being made homeless by my mother. And I was running around on a Friday afternoon searching for places to stay. People kept asking my address and I kept giving old addresses in a delusional, confused state. The only thing worse than being crazy is dreaming you are crazy and thinking it is real. That really fucks my vibe. Crazy people generally don't know when they lose the plot. In the dream, I saw clearly our old house in Island Bay, replete with all my mother's china collection. In the dream, it was all going to auction and I was distressed about the loss of both her worldly goods and a place to stay. I was asking if housing was open so I could beg for a place, but I only had $90 a week. That is actually my current rent. The dream ended with my bed perched on top of some building outside with me, the kids, for some odd reason, Jared, all lying in it, very Frida Kahlo-esque. I had trouble waking from the dream and had to remind myself several times that I live in a nice, safe home and I am not homeless and I am safe. Just as I was settling back down to sleep, there was an almighty hammering on the door, like a pissed-off policeman. I staggered out of bed, drew on my dressing gown, thinking, what the actual fuck? More trouble. This because I was still half in the twilight zone of my dream. The young, eager, pleasant tradesman was at the door. He'd come to look at the back stairs. I fought about with the hosing, or it is kind of a hosing or a hazing they do on me constantly, with the housing call lady yesterday. Great. He is coming next week to replace rotting bottom step and paint the rest. I actually need to get them to do that job again. There's a few steps that have rotted out in the front steps. I just dread getting them around, so I put it off as long as possible. Isn't that awful? The last housing inspector that came was lovely though. He was a lovely man. Got to always be fair. Yin and yang, people. Yin and yang. Next step, waiting for them to assess my disintegrating kitchen, which is indeed disintegrating. No wonder I was having nightmares. I don't like being so red flagged that they have to come to repair stuff, as I have a constant phobia they will move me someplace smaller. But my house is getting old and needs repainting, still of even date, 2024. And the new kitchen cabinets, so it has to be looked at. I wish my ex-husband and my mother hadn't robbed me completely. I would have still owned one house and had security until I died. Such is life. I'm not alone in this constantly tenuous state. At least I've had 12 years, 21 years now, of stability living here, which has made life somewhat easier on my mental health. Prior to that, the constant moving with the children, constant trauma and stress nearly killed me. If not for a kind GP, Dr. Pekatic, writing on my behalf, I would not, he was Serbian, wonderful man. I would not have gotten a house in 3 years and would have probably still been struggling like a wild animal. I'm so grateful for a nice garden, home, my pets, and my lovely warm bed. I think often of my homeless friends and how content and at peace they are in their situation. I admire them so much. My health is so precarious. I would die on the streets in winter. So my guardian angels have really guided and protected me. I did offer to give a bed to Katrina, but she refused. She prefers the streets. She must have some place to sleep at night these past few weeks, as I've not seen her out on my weekends dancing. I look for her. I've stopped looking for her. After that business with the ring, I thought, what's the point in investing energy and time into people that are just, superficial. George also was absent last week, but I suspect he was put in hospital as he was raving mad 2 weekends ago. Poor soul. I always know when he is losing it, when he tells me he has left his girlfriend. He adores that woman. He said last time they gave him the Volts, ECT. So yes, I worry about him too. I thought he might be delusional about the breakup, but he insisted, it's over this time. No, it's not. The only time he takes off busking is when he's put in hospital or when he goes on holiday to England to see his family. So, hopefully he is out playing tonight. I will check to see he is all right. Him and I, both Jews, doing our thing on the Shabbat. His father was a shochet, a ritual butcher in East London. Very orthodox. George tells me he no longer believes in God, and I declare outraged that of course God exists and we are still Jews. This is just our expression of Oneg Shabbat. He laughs cavalierly. I don't give a fuck, he says, but in his eyes I see a gleam of connectedness. He is still ours. On good nights, he lets loose with Yiddish swear words and curses, words even I don't quite understand. He chortles impishly. I waggle my finger at him. I say, now, that's not nice, Georgie. Fuck the goyim, he says, usually after some drunk lowlife schmuck has insulted him or me. I laugh. I say, your Yiddishkeit is slipping. He is right though. People out on the streets can be so fucking rude. George says in England those types would have been beaten up, and one time he almost smashed his guitar over some arsehole's head. I said bemusedly, don't do that, Georgie. Your guitar deserves better treatment than that. We laughed. My beloved, tongue-in-cheek sarcasm there, told me yesterday that he thinks I am a harmless psycho. I said in my most sinister, dark voice, you really have no idea. He teased me that I have a horrible laugh, voice, and I am an annoying stalker, which is kind of funny since it was him that was stalking me at the casino, by the way. I said, okay, is that all you've got? Say something nice to me. He quickly changed the subject. I happen to know he likes me, as I stated to him. One does not simply encourage one's stalker by talking to them for hours on the phone. Oh dear goddess. He says I blank, that means snub him, when we are out. I said, only if you have spoken badly to me, or you are with another woman. I said indignantly, I never stalk or harass you in public, or by text, or only by text, or occasionally by phone. You are the one who shows up and stares at me all night. So by definition, in public, you are my stalker. We both had to laugh at that. It is true. Love makes fools of us all. Well, I'm glad he stopped doing that, and I'm glad I stopped all contact, and I'm glad I've moved on. Just want to see what year this is. 2015. Yes, I'm glad I've moved on from that one. Useless, utterly useless he was as a man. Could not man up to be a real lover or partner to me in any way, form or manner, but never mind. The best he can do now, well, up until last December, is stalk me at red lights or crossroads in the preamble leading up to Christmas, usually around about between the 13th and 15th of December. I don't know what that's about. It's not his birthday. It's no meaningful date in our connection, but it's when he pops up with monotonous regularity year after year after year. So I got him good last year. The synchronistic timing was the song Where You Gonna Find a Woman Like That was playing on my radio. So when I saw him in the rear vision mirror, I just cranked that song up and danced in my seat and went like that and then drove off. But honestly, I don't need any connection to that man. He brought me nothing but pain, really, overall. Overall, nothing but pain. And I'm done living in pain over a man who wasn't genuine anyway. I'm done with the grieving. And I'm ready for my true, beautiful, loving man to manifest in my life in 3D reality. I hope it's soon. I really do. Just got to get over this bit of a wheeze and cough and keep on dancing, baby girls. 10:20 a.m, another lovely morning. I have been awake for several mornings this week. Very unusual, meaning early for several mornings. I'm sitting in my garden drinking tea and playing with Mushu and the chickens. The sun is warm after a cold night. 6 more weeks of winter, then spring. My jonquils are already up. Life is good. Later I wrote, the Tanya is brimming over with happiness and love. This afternoon I had coffee with my dear friend, the creature I no longer name usually because she was such a treacherous, fucking demonic imp. But here I was still loving her, you know. I wrote, it was lovely to see her again. We shared an antipasto dish together. While sitting there, I noticed, and I'm not going to name her either because we're not exactly friends, she was just an acquaintance from our Jewish community. I noticed this acquaintance sitting with her son, Remy. She's not a creature or an enemy. I just don't feel like saying her name for whatever reason. It is his birthday today. His bar mitzvah is on Saturday. He is her youngest. It was lovely to see them. Our older children went to Sinai College together. I told Remy to tell Jordan, or people can probably guess if they know those two boys' names who the friend is, that I have a new Mazda 3 now, so Jordan no longer has to keep his promise to fix my old Mazda 121. He said he would be sure to tell him and that he would be delighted for me. Sweet boy. I reminded him that I'm the only one to still call his big brother Geordie, and he liked that. We all laughed. Funny how time has flown. It makes me feel rather old, Tia. They are celebrating the bar mitzvah by going to Disneyland, which I think is wonderful. I'd always wanted to take my girls to Disneyland. How exciting. Then driving home I saw the double rainbow, a double blessing from Hashem. So I texted Creature to buy a lottery ticket. You just never know. So I am blessed with love and happiness, heavenly protection and abundance. Okay, abundance is pushing it, but shmeh. All good. You can't buy what I've got going on. It is a gift from the universe. Although I wish reflux wasn't such a gift. It's funny that that's got worse since I'm having air forced into my lungs every bloody night. It's all upper respiratory stuff, isn't it? Anyway, it is a gift from the universe. Baruch Hashem, kiss, 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 kiss. Shabbat Shalom. 10th of July, 2014. Death has just called out to me. You have it under your purview, Tanya, if you don't improve with the CPAP. You were dying before they tried the CPAP and you're dying now. Your time is a minute. And I'm like, I hear you, sister, but I'm still going to shuck you off for as long as I can. But yeah, it's kind of feeling like there's no way to heal this body of the sleep apnea now. I'll just have to accept my fate and lie down and go quietly. I know that's a scary thought to my close friends that watch my videos, but I have to stop fighting so hard. The fighting hard achieves nothing but me spiralling under into even further weakness and malaise and ill health, and I've got to let it go. I really do. 10th of July 2014. I am having dinner at the Treasury, Starvin Marvin, which I very rarely ate there actually. Crystal bought me very expensive cakes from Newstead. That was hours ago. They were delicious. I basically hoovered them. I have ordered a chicken schnitzel. Waiting way too long. It better be great. It wasn't. That's why I didn't eat there very often. It's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. I had a great night out with Joe and Laura. We danced to Irish Murphys and I finished off my night with a nice chicken schnitzel at the Treasury. I just got home. Wow, my life is awesome. I love my life, but insomnia is an unwelcome side effect of too much awesomeness. Almost 7 a.m. and I've been dozing on and off for 3 hours. So I just ate a picnic bar because I can and I want chocolate. Then I'm going to brave the cold and make a cup of tea and let the hens out. Then a Seroquel to sleep, which I should have taken when I first went to bed to quell my thoughts. My elderly friend from shul told me 15 years ago that when I hit menopause, I would lose weight and get all hyper. I laughed back then, but it appears to be right. I've spent several hours running my hands over my taut muscles from dancing and the recent schlep for Jared's move. I barely recognise my own body. I was always so squidgy and overweight and exhausted. Still exhausted, but my God, I have stamina now. Dancing has strengthened my body, mind and spirit. The last time I was this fit, I was 14 years old, chasing my horse up huge hills and down valleys for hours to capture her. That was 35 years ago. I can't even cease being amazed that I am still alive after the life I had. I am a strong, awesome, wonderful woman who deserves the very best that life has still to offer me. Whether I get a man who totally loves and gets me is a dream long nurtured and a penchant long fought for. This morning I realized that my freedom to sleep when I want, go out when I want, dance and drink with my beautiful friends, and just embrace what is left of my shattered life probably precludes me from settling down with a man ever again. They fear me. They don't know how to be in my life and make me fit into theirs. They never bothered to try. I am a woman who will not be conquered. It's amusing how much they are fooled by a pretty face or firm body, but I am way more complex than my exterior upholstery. I am a deep soul, lesser mortals need not apply. Oh yes, insomniac ramblings make me ponder the big secrets of my existence. Cup of tea, my first words, and one day might be my last. 7:47 a.m. Brass monkeys outside, but looks like it will be a lovely day. Back in my warm, snuggly bed, bliss out. 8:14 p.m. Just woke up. The Seroquel knocked me out. I slept 12 hours. Now the night stretches ahead of me. So warm in my bed, hard to leave it. Cats need feeding, so that will motivate me. And I am so thirsty. I think I will make semolina for breakfast. Need quick carb fix, lol. I've decided that if I get moved out of my housing commission cottage, I will move to Byron Bay. I need to investigate accommodation options, as I won't be able to afford the private mental rental market there either. Scared for my future, actually. So I will get up and I will dance. Update 2020. Same intentions, same fears, minus the Seroquel. Sometimes I have to stop, breathe, and remember how awesome I am. Glad I was able to encourage a young performer tonight. He was great, as I knew he would be. 10th of July 2013, a quote posted by Janice Ian, the folk singer. Quote of the day: there are times when the world is rearranging itself, and at times like that, the right words can change the world. Orson Scott Card, Ender's Game. You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it. From out there on the moon, international politics looks so petty. You want to grab a politician by the scruff of the neck and drag him 250,000 miles out and say, "Look at that, you son of a bitch." He's looking at you, Joe Kelly and Anastasia Palaszczuk, you bitches. Here we are. Edgar Mitchell, Apollo 14, astronaut. Never forget the infinite. We're just ants crawling over this earth. Be kind, be honourable. I want to say more, but my video will get taken down, so read between the lines, people of Earth, what I'm saying here. 10th of July 2012. I had a lovely candlelit milk bath, then lathered my parched skin in moisturiser, then went all out and painted my nails, then oiled my cuticles, then spent more time removing the smudged over paint on my fingernails. Then I felt all pretty and primped up with nowhere to go but bed, so I thought, bugger that. So I'm currently watching some ancient black and white British movie on TV. Men Are Not Gods, I think it's called. For some obscure reason, the movie paraphrases Othello. I also enjoyed Wire, On the Blood, and before that, Fringe. Don't worry, I also spent some lovely time in the garden, which necessitated the lovely hot soak in the milk bath. Interesting. 10th of July 2011, Sunday musings. Okay, not much housework done, but I finally stripped my bed and the sheets are washing as I write. Phew. Now what can I do? Just another long nap. I guess it's coming down to wake me up when it's over. I'm going to meet my cousins at the Maya Centre on Wednesday. Hope I can wake myself up for that one. One I met on Ancestry is coming along to meet us, so that should be interesting. not if he's anything like the Phillips line. Actually, it was a daily, and he and the other cousin that came, they were very snobby. They just looked at my cousin Melvin and I like we were some kind of trash, and all condescending and weird they were, and off they went. Never spoke to them again. Awful it was. But anyway, it's their choices to behave like that. It's on them. He's a direct descendant of the Daly line, which was my great Irish grandmother's maiden name. So he'll probably be slightly more normal than the rest of us, lol. No, he wasn't. He was just an elitist pig. He is hoping there is the Irish connection. I wonder what he will make of Melvin and Kay and me. We rather look an odd but sort of bunch when we have our monthly meetups. So I was well aware that we look a bit odd, but still there was no need for that rudeness. I've been a very naughty mama and didn't walk Bella today, so now I feel guilty. But we did have a brief spell playing Manky Monkey Head, ball-shaped toy that Bella won't let me throw out. I tried to mix a compost pile, but it was too full, so I sort of dragged stuff out, tossed it a bit, then threw everything back in. The bottom seems to be composting nicely, but I need to mix it more. Trying to figure out how to do that, as the small amount of effort turning it made me weak and breathless. Jared popped over this morning and brought me some tin cat food as I'd run out, and I asked him if he could buy some for me and bring it over, so that was great. He commented on how lovely the garden is looking and was amazed at my black bamboo, which is finally established and doing gloriously. After all the years I strangled its mojo in a pot, it finally is at its full splendour, sort of how I feel myself after years of being persecuted, slandered, crushed by Mum, Buck, Dad, Gila, Terry, David, and their creepy associates. It's 5:01 p.m. and the sun is starting to set, so I've missed out on another beautiful day apart from composting. Oh well, I love the nightlife. I live to boogie. I wish. Maybe next Saturday I'll go out by myself again to the casino and have some more fun dancing. I might meet someone amazing. Well, yes, I did. I met lots of amazing people. Or not. I really don't care. But I do want to have more fun before I die. I've been pining terribly for Courtney most of the day, and this is no way to live my life. I only do this often, lol. So I think mixing in the real world with real people will do me good or piss me off. But hey, I won't know if I don't go. I had a good rest after spending about an hour last night trying to fall asleep, which was annoying and unusual. I got up around midday and am now ready to play. Arg! No one to go out with or play with, laughing out loud. So I guess I will get a tad frustrated by this evening, trying to think of something time-consuming and useful to do. Dare I speak the evil thing out loud? Housework? Laughing my ass off. Oh my God, I must be really bored and lonely because I've just done a profile for eHarmony. Only one small technical hitch. I can't afford to subscribe for a while yet. Oh well, interesting times. I guess this puts out to the universe my desire for meeting a potential new partner. And a friend wrote, RSVP is free, I think. And another one wrote, get onto oasis.com. And I replied, I liked the personality profile eHarmony did for me, so I might give them a go when I have some money. It was fairly accurate, lol. Not sure if the men out there will like it, though. Might be off-putting, but it's good to cull the time wasters, etc. So hey, it's all good. And I decided against pursuing ever doing internet dating. So you will never find me on any dating apps, except for maybe that old account I set up back in 2011, which I've never used or, carried on with. I don't like it when people come on my YouTube channel and try to treat it like a dating channel, because it's not. And you will never find me, advertising in newspapers or any other avenue of meeting potential partners, which is why I'm still alone at 59 years of age, because I've put no effort into any of that at all, because I just find it skeezy and sleazy and a bit pathetic and kind of desperate. And yes, it's worked for many other women in my age group, and some have found wonderful partners, and that's good for them, and I'm glad it worked out for them. But I need to meet men eyeball to eyeball. They need to meet me with my unique, quirky, weird personality and my spiritual walk. And if they don't meet me face to face and I don't meet them face to face, there's no real opportunity for a real connection, because I don't trust in all the frottering that happens on laptops and all the bullshit lies people feed you, and pretending that they're interested, playing their fucked up little games in their own fucked up little mind. So I won't play, and you won't find me that way. I did give someone an opportunity that way last year, and yet again it proved to me that was dumb on my part. And anyway, I had already decided who I'm really in love with, and even though that will never manifest into anything real, I don't think, because that person is unavailable. While I'm in love with someone, I'm not interested in looking for anyone else, even though I can't have any loving sexual partnership. I'm not really in a space where I can look for someone else, because I'm not well enough. Got nothing to offer, and it goes round and round in an ever cyclic circle, and psychedelics ever spiralling up, spiralling down, dreaming. And every now and then, if the gods allow it, someone lands and shows true heartfelt intentions. And when that person does land in a safe landing in my personal, intimate sphere of existence, I will know, because that man will let me know in no uncertain terms, and we will begin a truly loving love affair / sexual partnership that is truly deeply loving and mutually exclusive. But until that time arises that I discover who that person is that wants to be with me, I'm just gonna keep doing what I've always done, heal my ancient traumas and live with my fucked up lungs and live my best life to the best of my ability and enjoy my dance and enjoy my creativity, and love my friends, whoever's loving me back, love them anyway, and just be joyful in my own existence. And on that note, I've got to rush now to my psychiatrist. I didn't think this video would be as long as yesterday's, but it is. So, and luckily I curtailed it by not repeating that same story that I already presented. So I'm going to rush now. I'm going to put on shoes and my jacket and go out into the world and have my debrief. So to you, people of Earth, wherever you are in the space-time continuum, be happy, be joyous, be wild and free, and be with your true beloved ones who love you back to the same degree that you love them, in equal measure, with honour and integrity, sweetness and kindness, and loyalty and fidelity. And don't worry about the rest, the kinds of entities that let you down. Just slough them the fuck off. And if, like me, you're destined to be alone, just live your best life and enjoy every moment of every day of every breath That's my motto. Live your best life. Bye for now.